Right, for today we've got this rather nice Kropp. So I bought this in a job lot of things. I weren't really interested in this razor, I was interested in one of the others. A couple of the others actually. But when I got this actually turned out to be my favourite razor out of the lot, so I've decided to keep this one. It's got horn scales, whether they're original I don't know, but I love them. They're really nice shape to me. It's one of the old, like the old school classic horn shapes. I've not done nothing to the horn. I might gently sand it down with, well, I'll start with 3,000 grit and see how it goes, wet and dry. Nice little wedge. I ain't sure, but I think that might be a silver wedge. You know, maybe sterling silver, maybe just nickel, but it's not lead, because you can dig your thumb in lead. And what's strange about this Kropp, I'll talk about Kropps actually a little bit. So I've had lots and lots of Kropps this year, and I've had lots of Kropps over the years, but especially this year I've had loads. And also going into half a year last year, and I had some like near 8/8 ones that I kept myself, and I've now sold them to an Italian chap because I just I don't know, I didn't really have a thing for Kropps really, even though they're a nice big razor. And I find sometimes they're a bit plucky with my combination of like lavering, very very thin. But this one's just a bit different. And something else that's a bit different with Kropps, their heels and stabilisers always kind of like nearly sweep inwards. I don't know what angle would be best to kind of demonstrate it, but it's definitely like a feature of of Kropps basically. You can see it, like, especially when you put another one up to it and everything. If you've got any, have a look. Even my little ones and everything, because I've got to have quite a few little ones, all the same. They've angled that. So the bottom part is angled that way, like towards the toe. But what makes this Kropp really different, like I said, I've had 7/8, I've had nearly 8/8 ones, is this one has got a massive thick shank. Like it really has. And I know it's got homeware, you know, so the edge is probably missing at least 1 mil, 2 mil, I know that. But still, this shank's massive, and it's lovely. It really is, for my hands, like, and it's got really aggressive gimping underneath, which I really quite enjoy. Well, I know some people that they hate that, but I love it because it's just grip. I like grip. But yeah, like really thick that way, massive thick that way. It's like over 1.5 mil from a razor of roughly the same size, and I'm talking about other Kropps. So if anybody can chime in, and if they've got any Kropps that are a bit like that, I'd be interested. Like, so I've took this all the way up to 12,000. I wouldn't say it's perfectly popping all the way along. Let's try and find something in my daughter's. My daughter's hair's no good whatsoever. Too fine. And I found if I get a razor popping my daughter's hair, because I have, you know, got razors popping my daughter's hair, it's too sharp. It's too bitey. Right, so that's a good one, because I knew the middle was bob on. But the heel is just a tiny bit off, so it did get it there. So it's about 10 mil of the heel. It's not perfect, it is popping, but I'm having to encourage it a bit more, whereas the middle and the ends just boink. We'll keep that there, hopefully I don't move it, because that seems like a good air. And yet now it's gone. Or at least to my eyes, it's gone. Oh no, there it is. Well, I'll tell you what, put that underneath the marker. Right, sorry. Gets my age, mate. Fucking eyes start failing. Right. So we've demonstrated it's popping. So what we need to do now is we need to make sure this is razor safe. And I'm actually going to turn it around, just so I don't have to think about that. Then you can easily hone over that, by the way. You generally, you know, don't have to worry about it, because I'm talking and stuff. I like to put everything in favour of my concentration a little bit. So what we first need to do, well, first off, we need to make sure that we are not damaging the edge. That is fundamentally the most important thing when you get a new stone in to test for your razors. Obviously it's just as important if you have like knives and everything, but razors has got such a fine edge, especially on something that's quite like hollow like this. that it's just really important that you make sure it's not well, damaging your edge. It's a 12,000 edge, like I said, so you know, I've showed you my, well, not my 12,000, a Shapton Pro, decent Shapton Pro 12,000. Somebody did actually contact me on YouTube saying about how he's got a Shapton Pro 12,000 and it's scratching his edge, and I was like, no man, that's definitely a quality control issue stone, I'm afraid, sir, because they mirror an edge. There's, you know, it's not the highest mirror you can get probably, but it's a very mirrored edge. You can see where it's lacking on the heel a little bit. It's on this side, so if you watch the water every now and then, it's just not perfectly flowing. There's two bits on the heel there I can see with the water flowing that are just not perfect, but it's my razor, so you know, if it don't work quite right, there was a hair there somewhere, I don't know how that got there. It's holding water a bit more than I first thought, and I think that is because I've lacquered it and that. It's more noisy. If you hear a little chirping and stuff, that's because I've got a little chicken in the room. A little 2-week-old, well, he's a rooster, so he's not one I'm going to keep, but get some more eggs next week. Well, tomorrow actually, yeah, I'm going to be coming tomorrow. We go again. I like hatching my own chickens. I'm more friendly. I'm more used to my dogs. It's funny having a rooster in a cage like that. It's a big old cage like with loads of bits in there for him to play with. Because they just act different to the hens. Like, they're just running around, they're practicing their jumping, they're attacking anything they can find, like bits of frayed card. Yeah, he's like a little terror in there. It's funny watching the difference. Right, so in terms of feel, I can feel that it's probably a little bit more abrasive, but like, one thing not to worry about soft stone. So just because something's soft, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad stone in terms of your finishing, because it's not to do with the softness of the stone, it's to do with how the particles of the stone, so like imagine the little tiny granules of the stone are interacting with the metal. So as long as the granules, the particles of the stone, haven't got really sharp edges, and you know, if they're nice and, well, small, it should still be a really good stone. Like I said, with those German water hones, I'm unsure how many I've had now, but I've definitely had over 10. And they all vary, like every single one's a bit different. They all pretty much smell the same, they smell like a German water hone. But I had one that was especially soft, and it really was soft. And it put a lovely edge on the razor, because I test every one when they come in. Yeah, and it put a lovely edge on the razor. If anything, it felt like it put an edge, a good edge on the razor quicker than any of the harder ones. And from my reading, I think that is, you know, that is a thing. That is a feature of soft versus hard. But nothing's finite because they're natural stones. Definitely sucking up water more than I'm used to. And it's got some nice patterns. If the sun, yeah, it's not going to happen in this honing session, but I'll get it one day in the sun. It really will ping. I can see that there's a lot of things that are trying to come out of it. There's a nice little line here. There's that nice kind of line going through there. I do find the Jnats are the prettier side of stones, but then my water of air stone that was from Scotland is beautiful in the sun. It really is. It's got all of these little tiny dots and really pretty it is. And I've had a few pretty of those little water stones. Still on the hunt for a German hone. Right, let's get the old microscope warmed up. And we'll give a little look. And what are we going to see? It's going to be the first time there was a little tiny hair appeared. Might have come off my hand or my cuff or something. So hopefully that ain't damaged the very edge, but that's the only thing I felt. I felt no particulate sort of size, grit or anything along those lines. And you can feel that kind of side of life a little bit. Right, let's have a little look. Let's clean her off. About as gentle as we can. Get it dry. You need to dry it for the microscope because otherwise you don't really get a decent photo of it. Find some form of focus. Not finding it there, are we? It's because I was looking down on a razor last night. I had these razors come in for a client to hone, and he wanted a wedge and everything, and well, I ain't kidding you, there was a pain in the bum. Right, so it's not what I'd call frost in it. And there is little serrations. Good or bad, I don't know. But the edge. Oh, right, so hang on. Yeah, so let me think about this. Yeah, see, that's the side where the heel's not perfect. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that whole heel's just not really hitting right, is it? That goes to show. Like that side, it's even worse. It's hitting the very edge a little bit there. But look, that's where the Jnat's probably hitting it. So I'm going to have to go back to a lower grit. I won't do it now, like, because you know it's my own. Well, I'll just do what I'm going to do today, and I'll shave with it. And if it shaves okay, it'll just go into my rotation until it starts tugging. But doesn't that go to show? So again, it's not really hitting great up that top. Yeah, there's a tiny bit of work to be done on there as well. It's because it starts curling around, you see. It's right on the edge there, I just showed you. Let's check the other side ever so quick. Yeah, so it's not really hitting most of the bevel. I'd say it's probably getting the very edge a little bit. Even there, it's not getting most of the bevel. It's definitely started hitting it a bit more there because it's kind of a bit scratchy. You need to, when you're using a microscope as well, I've been meaning to say this, you need to play around with your angles a little bit, because sometimes you get like a false representation of what you're trying to see. So you look there, it's quite frosty, isn't it? Whereas if I tilt the razor up a bit more, you know, you get a different view of it. So you need to find your own sort of way with it. It's only an instrument to help you. Like the main reason I use microscopes is because I hone a lot of razors in a year, and it speeds me up. You know, that truly is like the main reason I use the microscope. It's a tool to help speed me up a bit. Alright, is that going to stop? There we go. Yeah, so the water's telling me, especially that side. It's that side, which is, yeah, that way. But the water's telling me it's not great on the heel. But this side, let's see if we can angle it up a bit. Let's do some sort of like more, let's say, rolling strokes. Because this razor does want to sit flat. You know, the spine has got a bit of slope to it. You know, I can imagine if this razor was brand new, it would have more of a curved edge, which in its lifetime with me, it will get. But as an initial first test, what we're looking for is edge damage. And I think that's basically passed the test. So that, to me, is good. And what we're going to do in a minute is we're just going to try this Nigora, no Sano one. I'm going to try the old Coma, because that's the one I've been using more recently. My Majiro is pretty much a very solid stone in my mind, but you will have to run independent tests. Yeah, definitely. It's the heel on that side mainly is definitely lacking. But you can see it with the water, when the water gets less as well. Like I said though, I'll do what I'm going to do today with it, and then I'll shave with it. And if it's lacking, yeah, come back to the stones. It's not like I'm short on razors. Now I do play the game. I was thinking about this. I couldn't sleep last night for whatever reason, you know. And I did start thinking about razors while I was in, like, trying to get to sleep. And I was thinking, I nearly always play the game. I always try and pinch a little bit. And what I mean by that is, I always try and get away with a bit. So even though I know it's not perfect, I can see it's not perfect. Like my thoughts on the stones, my thumb test when I'm on the lower grits, even sort of like when I try and take my fingerprint off. Because you can just like cut your fingerprint off basically. When I do those tests, like, I always know from doing my little play test, we call them, that the razor might be lacking a little bit, but I always kind of think, I'll get it on the strops, and most of the time I do get it on the strops, but it's me just trying to pinch a bit, and this is a good example of it, because I knew after I stropped this, I've only stropped this on a bit of clean linen, clean leather, to get it like to its popping stage. It did mostly do it from the stone really, to be fair. Because I've got some ideas with this stone as well. I'm going to get a nice razor set on the 2000. I'm going to go through my Nigoras with this stone. Right through to the coma, sorry. And then use my little diamond plate, get this Otomo Nigora going, and then go on to my level 5 one and see what kind of edge I get with that. So maybe even if I end up using this as a pre-finisher in a full sort of natural progression after a proper bevel set on the 2000. This razor might benefit from trying to chase the heel back a little bit more. What you see on the heel in terms of sort of grinding weren't done by me, it was done by the previous owner. I have chased it back and released the very apex and whatnot of the bevel, but it probably could do a tiny bit more. So let's see if we started hitting the heel a bit more. Yeah, so we definitely have, oh sorry, I'll turn my thing on right. There we go. So we've definitely started hitting the heel more. Loads, yeah. You can really see it now, yeah. So it needed a bit more time. It needed some more kind of what I call rolling V-strokes and just rolling strokes, which I generally always do. It's probably lacking a little bit there on the toe, but that's where it starts going around that curve bit. And if you know me, I don't care much for that curve bit. But it's definitely lacking that side a little bit still. But Let's play about with the angle, see if it's just the angle. No, yeah, it's definitely lacking a little bit outside, but it's a lot nearer. See, look, yeah, see that's the Jnat. Yeah, so it's the last 10 mil on that side and a little bit towards the toe. Let's just check the toe the other side. Where are we? Are we there? Where's it gone? It's gone. Oh, it's actually froze. Yeah, it has, it's froze. Oh, it's the first time it's ever froze. Right, so what we'll do now is we'll do the coma. See if that video actually did save. Oh, if it ain't saved, is it? No drama. Right, let's get the old coma on the go. Just going to refresh the bottom of this coma because I did use it the other day on one of my synthetics. I don't want any excuses for problems. So straight away that's bringing up both stones, isn't it? Look at the colour. First off it was white and then it's gone to nearly the base colour stone. Interesting. Look at that, just a few swipes, like doing it on my stone over there, my harder stone, man, you're doing a lot of swipes. Too much mud really. Who is he? Nice though, feels nice. Very muddy. You can almost smell the mud. I am a man of mud. I'll build up. Yeah, it's definitely translating on the microscope. Every now and then that's just not hitting that heel. Saw it a bit then. Supposedly with softer stones you can go from like a lower grit, so they've got more scope to play with your Nagoras and stuff like that. But that's what I've been reading anyway. They can interact a lot sort of effectively with different Nagoras of different grit sizes and feel, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to get a slightly softer Well, I wanted to get a slightly softer stone, and I've got a really, really softer one. But I'm not moaning about that. At the end of the day, it seems like it's razor safe, so that's all that really mattered. Surprised how long the mud and everything stayed there. Thought it was going to sort of go a lot quicker than that. I find a lot of Japanese stones are always tilted one way when you put them flat. And I did actually read somewhere that's so because the water is always going, kind of thing, instead of like if the stone was perfectly flat, the water would stay there more, whereas they kind of want it to run off. Just slow it down this side, see if I can't hit that. It is interesting because I naturally, with my sort of wrist action, I find it easier to angle the heel on the side that's better on this razor. So I have to keep an eye on. See, it's just not collecting the water every single time without me just sort of, well, thinking about it a little bit more. Whereas the other side just naturally is flowing. Ah, see, look, when the sun hits that, that's reminding me of my other stone that I sold. That's the same kind of interesting. We're heading towards clearing the mud. Feels delightful, so I'm happy. Do some very, very delicate rolling V's. Just try and get rid of them little wire edges a bit. Let's have another little look at this. Right, we're back in action at least anyway. Right, well that's 100% hitting it all the way down there. You see the impact the mud has. It's gone really frosty, isn't it? I'm not really seeing any damage to the edge. That's pretty good as well for a freshly kind of. It's hitting it a little bit more down there, isn't it? And then full bore there. But yeah, definitely. It's not impacting the edge, is it? In a negative way, or at least on the face of the microscope and whatnot. There's a tiny bit there. See that right in the middle of the screen there? That could do with a tiny bit more meat in that could. I do believe with this stone you'd probably be able to get that with a slurry. You have to be very delicate with these kind of rather large crops, because the straight edge, the cutting edge, is very, very flexible. You have to be very careful that you're not sort of, well, basically bending the metal too much. Once again, just do some little these and we'll have a little still there a tiny bit. It was popping out beforehand, so. Well, it feels very, very sharp. What we'll do now is just one little final more slurry, just because we can. Just because we want to see the impact of what's going on. With the various what we do now is we just do it to properly. Yeah, do you know what? It does act just like my first one, but a little bit softer. So I really am quite happy, because I genuinely have missed it. Like I really didn't want to sell it, but I had to sell it at the time because I'm not a rich man in any stretch of the imagination. My whole life revolves around looking after my child, really. Kind of gave up a little bit of my life, but not. Oh, I say that, I don't mean that, but you sacrifice, don't you? As a, you know, we don't want to be distant parents as best as we can manage. Feels lovely. Very silky, muddy, bit of drag, but a very silky kind of drag. It's definitely got like a particular noise that I missed a little bit with my level 5 Jnat. Because what I've experienced, like in comparison to the softer stone to my level 5 Jnat, it was easier, far easier to get a really good shaving edge on the softer stone. And it was exactly what the Japanese dude spoke to me about, like saying exactly that. And I think it's because you just have the harder stones are so finicky. But then I say that, and I was shaving off the 12,000 for years, so, which is an incredibly hard Shapton Pro 12,000. It's incredibly hard stone. It's almost just like a piece of glass, nearly, like thick glass. But definitely more finicky. Kind of like little sort of mental steps you have to jump through to get a good edge. He's just trying to escape, beating up his cage. Right, so this is its own diamond Nagora. Let's just dilute it down more. Oh, I'm glad I got the sun on it though. The sun's just played the game, innit, eh? What I'll do is I'll separate this video though. I'll put the preparations of the stone in a separate video, just so it's not too long. People can jump back to that bit if they want to just do that bit. How lovely is that? Sun's played its game. It's got its sunny hat on. Showed my stone off. Let's just quickly get most of it off the razor. Let's quickly just clean the stone. Always try and keep your hands clean, gents. Less chance of sort of crap getting in the old pivot area as well then, isn't there? Getting rust in there. I think it's just good practice. Get more grip. It's quite a bit different with no sort of slurry. It's not so soft that it makes its own slurry, so you can get some stones that when you actually, you know, running your laps and everything, it almost creates its own slurry. So with this razor, I'm not feeling that's true. I can't see any sort of slurry appearing. Seems like it's remaining clear. I feel like trying to jump a little bit of that here and there now. I've actually got one of my grail razors coming hopefully. I won't say no more because I don't, like I said before, I don't like counting the chickens. I think it's got a bit of homeware and stuff. But I've only seen one for sale the whole time I've been using straights, and that went up to like 450 quid or whatever it was, so I was way out. I was up for about 300 quid at the time, but let's wait, let's see. Fingers crossed it don't get lost in the post. I've never actually had a razor get lost in the post yet. It's quite amazing. Right, let's have a look. See what we're left with. That's kind of like what this finish now is going to be quite representative of what the stone's sort of capable of, isn't it? I feel. I think that's quite a good. And that definitely has shined it up a little bit more, isn't it? It's got less of a sort of matte finish to it, but it's quite, well, it's marked it a lot, let's put it that way. Definitely my level 5 does what you could call a form of more polishing. Interesting though, man. So that's about it. I'm going to go and strop it now, and I'll edit it in, or, well, I suppose I could just speed the video up. No, I'll edit it in, it's just better, isn't it? Alright, cheers lads. Toodaloo. Right, back again. It actually took me quite a while and a bit of stropping, so I wasn't quite getting it popping on the strops. Like in the middle was really good, a little bit on the heel, but towards the toe was just like, we weren't having it. So I've had to deploy my little paddle strops. That's why it's good having these in your armoury. Like every now and then they really do pay a dividends in terms of just getting your edge going. I do kind of expect that I'll learn a little bit more, but you never know, it might just be more suited as a pre-finisher, being that soft and whatnot. But like I said, we'll give it a good go over the next coming months. But paddle strops, yeah, they save the day. Like they've got it popping nice. Definitely need to chase the heel back a little bit. I noticed it on the paddle strops, so it's popping all the way along now. Yeah, definitely need to just chase the heel back ever so slightly, just that last little bit there. I actually noticed it on the paddles more than, well, I won't hitting it on the stone because I always know that. But anyway, there we go. She's popping, she's done. I'll see you later, chaps. Have a good day.